Hello everyone, welcome to the Jam interview. My name is Jamal Lawson, I'm your host. I'm also the founder of Jam Clothing, and I'm with James Morgan.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, so just tell me about your story.
All right, so basically, I race cars, and I do it for very cheap. I do it for almost no money. The way I ended up getting into racing cars, I ended up meeting up with a guy while I was at a car meet, about in like 2012-ish, I think, who had the same last name as me. So it's kind of a little quirky thing. We kind of just bonded over. It's like, haha, we got the same last name. Turns out he was the lead instructor at the time for the SCCA, which is the Sports Car Club of America.
Okay.
Basically, his job was to teach new people how to drive race cars. That was his thing. And we ended up bonding. We ended up keeping in contact, and he brought me out to my first track day. He helped me get bit with this bug, and we ended up starting a racing team together.
That's awesome. That's amazing how that, you guys started into that. So like, I guess he's one of your first mentors into going into racing, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about like where we're at right now?
Right now we're at my garage. We're in this little one-car shop where dreams get built, per se. This is my car. It's in pieces right now as I'm getting it ready for the 2018 season. But a little funny story about this car. I got it from a buddy. I had met him probably in 2014. We had gone on a trip to North Carolina together to just go and explore some of the roads, and it was just a bunch of friends, and we were out there. He actually had this car, and he brought it by. He built this car from the ground up over a course of like 6 or 7 years. But just, life kind of gets in the way. He didn't have time to really work on it, and instead of selling it or taking it apart and seeing something, seeing it go to a junkyard or get wrecked or something, he called me up one day while I was at work. I was sitting in a parking lot eating lunch. He calls me up and he goes, "Hey man, do you want a car?" I'm like, "Do I want a car? Yeah, I want a car, but I can't afford a car right now. Like, I can't responsibly buy a car right now." He was like, "Dude, if you come and get it, you can have it." And I was like, "You're kidding, right?" He's like, "No, man." So I called my wife and I was like, "Hey, there's a car about an hour and a half away that my buddy wants to give me. Is it okay if I go get it?" And she was a little skeptical. But eventually I was able to smooth her over and talk to her. So we go look at this car, and I'm expecting it to be kind of in pieces, or, I got to figure out how to get home. It was a driving 97 Honda Del Sol. Has been modified from the ground up. The only stipulation for me getting it was to do something cool with it. So I proceeded to take it on a full year's worth of racing so far.
That's amazing. Yeah, talk a little bit about the environment of racing.
So the environment in the Midwest is extremely unique. The Midwest track scene is an extremely close-knit, tight-knit community, but it's not cliquey, Most of the times when you hear of like, we're an extremely close-knit community, you're like, oh man, if you're not in, you're just not in. The Midwest track scene is way different. We actually are extremely open to new drivers, meeting new people, bringing people in. Like, the whole goal is to show more people how accessible this is. Whenever you hear racing, whenever you hear race cars, you always think, a lot of people think, man, that guy's got to be shelling out money left and right. He's got to be millions of dollars. The car's got to be worth 100 grand, 200 grand. Like, how do I even get from playing on my video games to here? The organization that I work with right now, Grid Life, their whole goal is to show new drivers and just car enthusiasts in general that you don't got to be rich to come racing. You don't have to have an over-prepared car to come racing. And it's not wrong to ask questions. We do about 5 to 7 track days a year, with 2 big festival events. And the festival events are race days, track days, car show, music festival, family activities. You name it. It's kind of an environment for everyone. And yeah, man, we just want to bring as many people in as we can. Drawing a blank here, but it's okay. We just want to bring as many people in as we can. We want to just show, like, everybody that if you're interested in this, if you're interested in learning how to race cars, if you're interested in just coming to a track day and having fun and seeing what you can do, if you're interested in becoming a better driver, if you're interested in just saying, man, this looks cool, let me come check it out, we've got something for you. We'll bring you out. Most of the events are free to spectate. The whole staff, all of us, are extremely. You can come approach us. There's no like off-limit areas, you know.
Yeah.
There's no like grandstands where it's like, oh, now you got to sit in this stand, and if you don't sit in this stand, you can't go. No, you can come and talk to the drivers. You can come and check the cars out. You can come and do anything. You can ask questions about the scene. You can ask questions about the environment. You can come through and just get fully immersed in it.
Wow. It sounds very accessible.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, so you have a team, right?
Yes.
All right. So what's your racing team?
So my racing team started when, again, my buddy who introduced me to racing. It was me and my friend Patrick Morgan. I had always talked about doing something with him one day. I was like, dude, I just want to be on a race team with you one day. And again, like I said, I did a full year of racing here, and seeing so many race teams and stuff. I'm like, man, I just want to be a part of a race team. And I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to get on a racing, why don't I just start one?
Yeah.
So me and Patrick started it. It's Celerity Racing. Celerity is spelled Celerity, and it means swiftness of movement. And yeah, man, we just started it. We were our goal is to, again, show people how accessible this is. Be a liaison between the new driver and the track scene. We want to be able to show people how to get into this, answer your questions. Offer consultation for car setups, consultation for driving, consultation for anything. Answer all the beginner questions, like even the simple things like, when it's my turn to drive, where do I go? Because stuff like that. If nobody's explained it to you, you kind of out there. So it's 4 of us right now. It's me, Patrick Morgan, my buddy Ryan Derrick. He works at ZZ Performance in Michigan, which is another performance shop, and they specialize in all types of stuff. They're really cool people, man. They've helped us out a lot. And then our buddy Cortez Branch. So the 4 of us we're kind of floating around trying to figure out exactly what type of format we want to stick to with this. But again, it's super open. We're just here to have fun and help.
Okay. Talk about like some of the challenges that you're facing with Celerity and how you're trying to overcome those challenges.
So the main challenges we're facing with the racing group itself is racing does require money. Like, don't get me wrong, you can do it for cheap, but racing requires money. Our biggest challenge right now is just the growth aspect, because the team is only a couple months old. Like, we only started it in August, I believe. I think I came up with the idea in August at the Grid Life South Festival, and so we're just trying to grow right now, trying to maintain connections, gain connections with businesses, talk to lots of small business, lots of startups too, because again, my wife has a small business. We all come from small business backgrounds. It's like, if we can link up with other small businesses and provide a service for you guys, and also you guys provide a service for us, we're just trying to make it a very mutually beneficial type of relationship. So the main thing is kind of the money aspect, but it's a little bit of organization too. As with starting anything new, you got to kind of figure out your policies, your plans, kind of feel the ropes out of everything, and figure out exactly which direction you want to take everything in.
Okay. Are you reaching out to like other teams to get advice on how to, become more successful?
Yes. So we linked up with a lot of teams actually. A couple of good friends of ours are Hard Times Racing, the Ramblers Racing Squad, Tort Team Racing, like all these other racing teams that have been doing this since like 2014, 2013 and whatnot. We were talking with them, trying to figure out like better ways to organize ourselves, better ways to present ourselves, to be more uniform as a team wise right now.
Okay. So what are some of the, I guess, lessons you've learned just being in the racing environment?
Biggest lesson I've learned is ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to seek out help. Like I said, the Midwest track community is an extremely open and friendly environment. We have a Facebook group right now that's just Track Midwest, and guys from all over the country, not just in the Midwest, come to join our group, because it's like, it's an open group, and then I mean you can ask any questions from how do I change my oil to something extremely technical, driving advice, safety advice, equipment advice. It's super cool like that. And just some of the lessons I've learned along the way. Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to help out. Don't be afraid to volunteer as well. The way I got into racing for almost free, honestly, is by volunteering. I've volunteered a lot of my time towards organizations, just helping with setups, helping with tech inspection. For Grid Life, I'm the tech inspector and time attack grid organizer. I do some work with the SCCA as well. They have a beginner program called Track Night in America, which is just like a one day 4-hour event just to get drivers in, show them the track environment, and let them have fun. I help out with that, with organizing grid, with just kind of keeping drivers in check, making sure everybody's all right, having fun. I volunteered a lot of my time with that to cut costs. Vehicle wise, like I said, I mean, I was given this car, but my first race car I built over time very cheaply. I've learned patience is key as well. If this is something you really want to do, you have to really be patient with it. A lot of guys, they'll rush into putting together a car. They'll rush into trying to figure out how to get all the best equipment here and there. It's like there's no shame in starting off slow and building your way up.
Okay. So what? I guess what kind of characteristic, or what kind of values you gain from being in the racing environment?
Again, patience is a huge value that I've gained. I was not patient when I first started.
Okay.
I was one of those guys. I was like, I gotta throw all my money into stuff now.
Right.
I gained a lot of value in patience. Listening, being able to take criticisms as well.
Okay.
I mean, being critiqued will help you get faster. Will help you be better all around. Being open to, just being kind. I've given away so many parts. I've given away so many services. Like, if somebody needs help, I'm there to help them. But it always pays back too. Like, you never know who exactly is going to be your biggest blessing when you help, when you do stuff. I've given stuff to friends and helped people out that I've barely known that 4 or 5 years later come around and now, they're giving me help. They're passing me stuff that I need. Like, I need something, and they're like, "Hey, man, I remember that time you gave me this in 2010, man. Here you go. I've got something that you need."
Right. Yeah. Because it sounds like a sharing, I guess, like a sharing environment. Like
Exactly.
Everybody is bartering. You were telling me that earlier. You were able to get most of the parts for this car through bartering. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't think of much that I've paid for other than just normal brake pads and stuff. Most of the parts that I've gotten, funny enough, from my buddy Adam Gervais, which is the motorsports director of Grid Life, he has given me God knows how many parts for this car. Like, I'll text him randomly at something. I'm like, "Man, last event was cool, but my brakes are overheating and this and that." He's like, "Okay, well, come through. I've got an upgrade for you. It just came off my other car, just sitting here." I'm like, "Man, I'm blowing oil. Come through. I've got this for you. I've got this for you. I got that for you." Or if he doesn't have it, he'll link us up with somebody who does have it. I mean, this car has been put together. I've put it together with my own hands. I've taken it apart a couple of times, but this car has honestly been built by friends.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So I guess what kind of why join racing? Like, what would be your pitch to somebody to join the racing environment?
My pitch would be it would keep you out of trouble on the street, honestly.
Okay.
I was a street racer. Fast and the Furious was my life, man. Like, we joke about it. You're like, Fast and the Furious, that's a real thing, man. When I first got into cars, it was all about racing people on the highway and doing stupid stuff on side streets. But ever since I got into racing, I was like racing semi-professionally, amateurly on the track. It's like, wow, this is so much nicer. It's a much safer environment. It's much more fun. You don't got to worry about as much. And if you're in the Midwest, man, the roads are flat. It's kind of boring to just drive places sometimes. Come out to a race event, see what it's like. It's exciting. It's like being in a horizontal roller coaster. I've taken my wife along for ride-alongs and stuff like that, which is another thing, ride-along. If you come to the track, man, I'll put you in with me. Like, I got a passenger seat. Most everybody else got a passenger seat. All you need We got extra helmets. All you need is to come up and ask, and we'll take you for a ride. And then, I mean, like I said, a strong sense of family. Some of my best friends I only see 5 or 6 times a year, but every time we meet up, it's like no time's passed.
Wow.
Like it's nuts.
Well, I mean, it sounds interesting. I would be interested.
Man, you're welcome.
You want to make any shout outs or anything?
Yeah, man. I've had a lot of people help me out, a lot of organizations and whatnot. Got some friendly in Maui from Hawaii, Kingdom Gear. They keep me looking fresh in hats and stuff like that. I can't stop buying them. Shout out to you as well, man. You've provided me some shirts, some stickers, some stuff, man. It's keep me warm during the track season, during those early months. I mean, shout out to Adam and the whole Grid Life crew for bringing me in and for showing me the other side of motorsports. For showing me like the organizational side, the kind of the side that nobody really sees, the logistics behind it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's been crazy to see. Shout out to my boss because he gives me unlimited days off to go do these silly things. Yeah, man.
That's amazing.
And well, I can never forget. Shout out to my wife because she allows me to do these silly things, even though she doesn't agree with them sometimes.
Well, thanks for inviting me to your garage.
Of course.
And doing the interview. And we're gonna stay connected.
Definitely, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
No doubt.
Yeah. And tune in for the next one.